What's up, guys? I am in downtown San Antonio. I'm here for the day. I'm gonna support my friend Samantha. She's competing in her very first bikini competition. And I'm also gonna go train my mama later at the gym and get in a good workout. And I love San Antonio. I'm from San Antonio, so it's always good to come back here. I'm really excited to see a show. I'm not competing in it, but it should give me some motivation. I still love it, but I'm in my improvement season, so let's take a look. Alright guys, I have some time to kill, and so I wanted to talk to you. So what I want to talk about, because it's on my mind since I'm here to see this bikini competition, is 7 things you should know before you decide to compete in a bikini competition. I thought of 7 things. Okay, so the first thing you want to consider before you decide to compete is that you need to be in a good spot, both physically and mentally. So most of the time when you prep for a show, you can go anywhere from like 6 weeks, which is like really fast, up until like I've seen people do 20, 24 week long preps. Now in that amount of time, there's still only so much body fat you can safely lose without losing like a bunch of muscle as well. So you need to be in a spot almost, you know, where you're still relatively lean before you start to prep for a show. Now, mentally, emotionally, you need to be able to handle the fact that your body is going to be looked at and is going to be judged. The whole prep is a roller coaster of emotions and hormones. You know, am I going to be ready? It's difficult. There's a lot of, you know, work and effort and everything that goes into it, and you have to be sure that you are mentally prepared to handle that. Alright, tip number 2. Tip number 2 has to do with show day itself, or the second thing you need to know. That is the day that you're working towards, but that is not what this entire process should be about. There are so many people who put so much emphasis into that one day and then are disappointed when it doesn't go, or they don't place exactly where they want to, or as well as they want to. All right, so it's got to be about the process. You've got to enjoy this. You've got to look at the whole transformation you're going through and what you're learning along the way. Maybe do it with somebody. That would be one thing, one idea to make it more enjoyable. But yeah, don't put so much emphasis just on that one day, especially if this is your first show. Okay, point number 3 that you need to consider is that your lifestyle during prep is going to be super rigid. Now, whether you can handle that or not, or whether you can handle social events and stuff, all depends on your level of discipline. However, you can't miss your workouts. You've got to stick to your plan, and it does take sacrifices. Sometimes more than you want to do, and so that's also part of like the mentally being prepared. But yeah, it's not easy for anybody. right. I just watched the bodybuilding overall, and that was really freaking cool. And now figures going on. So thought I'd step out and record the fourth thing you should consider when you're deciding on whether you want to compete or compete in bikini. Is it is expensive. So whatever federation you compete in, so like I compete in the NPC, which is the National Physique Committee, you have to pay a membership, and it happens annually. So like if I compete in 2017, I have to pay my membership dues for 2017. That runs $125. Then you have your entry fees for whatever show you're competing in. So basically each category you enter will run about $100. So I competed in open and in novice this year, so that was $200. Then you have to pay for your tan, your show tan. That can range depending on how many coats you need. I would say anywhere between 80 and 150. For girls especially, there's makeup, hair, jewelry, and your suit is the big one. Now you can save some money by like renting a suit and doing your own hair and makeup. I did my own hair and my sister did my makeup. However, my suit, the one that I wore last year in December, was super expensive. I think I paid like $500 and something for it. If you get a custom suit, you'll probably be paying anywhere from like $300 to maybe $700 is kind of the average. You can rent them. You need heels, posing heels, and I got mine on Amazon. They were pretty cheap, but you can spend upward of $70, $80, $100 on them depending on how like blinged out you want them. And that's just the stuff really for the actual show day. If you travel, you're gonna have travel expenses, hotel and just like, you know, actual like gas and whatnot. For the actual prep, you know, you'll be paying for like all your food, your supplements, your gym membership. If you have a coach, you'll be paying for a coach. Posing practice, if you have a posing coach. So it all adds up, and you can end up spending a fortune if you let yourself. I did do things to like cut corners and save here and there, but it's still expensive, and that's something you really have to consider.
You miss me? I miss all of y'all. All y'all girls standing together like that, I can't take it.
136, Samantha Scales.
Looking good, Samantha!
Number 137, Gina Stipolio.
I didn't film any more last night because it ended kind of late. I still had to drive back to Round Rock, Austin from San Antonio, and it's dark and stuff. So every show that I've been to, Bikini's always been like the very last group to go on for finals, and that means you're usually done pretty late. This one was the earliest of the ones that I've been to and been in. I've stepped off of stage close to midnight before, so and I got back to Austin before that. So anyways, the next tip, or the next thing that you really need to consider before you compete in a bikini competition or any bodybuilding competition, is that your results are not private. So obviously you don't have to tell everybody that you're going to compete. You can, it's up to you how much you share, how public you want to make everything. Obviously I have a YouTube channel and my Instagram and stuff is not private, and I do talk about competing on there. You don't have to do that. However, once you do compete, most of the organizations put your pictures, your stage pictures, they have photographers there, and they put them up online. So anybody can actually go look up a competition and look at stage shots from all of the competitors. All right, I can go back and look at mine. They are public information on the web. So that is something to keep in mind. Do you want that out in the world, basically? And I don't think a lot of people like realize or know that when they're deciding to compete. So obviously, if you post stuff on like social media or whatnot, that's out there too, but that's usually up to you. Some of the organizations also have like Facebook pages and stuff like that, so it is possible that your picture also ends up on social media and you didn't necessarily post it there. Alright, the sixth thing that you need to consider when deciding to compete is what's going to happen with your diet after the competition. So whether or not you're planning to do another one, I've already talked about how when you're in prep, everything is very rigid, especially your diet. You've got to stick to it. A lot of people, not a lot of people, I mean, yes, a lot of people, but people have trouble post-competition and they end up going back to eating how they want to, eating lots of treats and stuff that they were deprived of during prep, and then putting on more fat in some cases than they had before they even started. So just another thing to consider. So the last thing that I want you to consider before you decide to compete is actually my favorite one and the best one. Throughout a whole prep and the whole process of competing, which is the reason I love it so much, is that you learn so much. And I'm not even talking about like the things you learn about your body, but the other things that you learn during your prep, just, you know, how to overcome things, the amount of dedication that you have, just your perseverance and just things that you, because you've pushed yourself and you've pushed your limits, you've grown, you've had so much personal growth. And those are things that I hadn't really experienced before until I went through a bikini prep. And those things apply to way more than just competing and going through a prep. They apply to, you know, your family life, and they apply to, you know, other relationships and business and just work and life in general. And it's one of the reasons that I have the hunger to do it again. What else am I going to learn? How else am I going to grow? And so now, having gone through 2 preps and 2 basically seasons of competing, you know, I'm in my off season now, but which has its own struggles and other things that I'm learning about myself through this. But, you know, going through that prep process all over again, I just know I'll get something else out of it that is going to mature me and further my growth. So with that, that is going to conclude this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were able to take that all, into consideration if you are thinking about or considering competing, whether it's soon or whether it's years from now. But I will see you in the next video. Go ahead and give this a thumbs up and comment down below if you're thinking about competing. So I'd love to know and talk to you more about it. All right, peace out.